It is video blog time, and we have a special guest. She's going to try her best to behave herself and not be too distracting. We'll see how she does. I don't have much faith in it. Now, this week, I am going to be trying something a little bit different. Last week, I just kind of spaced it and went off on my own. And when I say week, it's been more than a week. So this time, I made a bit of an outline. That way I can kind of try to touch on certain things and not get too distracted. So, first thing I wanted to talk about is my nickname. I have a lot of people ask about it, and I know, like, in video games, people use certain screen names, and sometimes, they'll stick, and that just kind of becomes their screen name for life. Mine started as a nickname, and then I just adopted it as my screen name, so kind of the other way around, I guess, for me. Mine comes from a childhood nickname my sister gave me. My real name is Heidi. And so, as a child, they called me Heidi Dighty Doo-Doo Head most of the time. And that just eventually got shortened to Dighty, so that in public it wasn't as ridiculous, as embarrassing, I suppose. And so they called me Dighty for years. And then eventually it just kind of got elongated, which I know isn't usually how nicknames work, and it became Diters and Diter Ball. So actually I think Diter Ball came first, then Diters. So now we're at Diters. That's what I've gone by for years. It's what the majority of my friends call me. The only people that didn't in my whole life, I think, on a regular, were my coworkers at my last job. And it was, honestly, it was, like, awkward for me because I always felt like it kind of, like, had a wall up between us because I'm like, oh, they don't even know my real name. I just don't go by Heidi. I mean, yeah, I use it on forums and things like that, but it's just not what anybody calls me. Some of my relatives call me Joe as well because that's my middle name, So Heidi Dighty Doo-Doo Head, Diters. Now, a couple of years ago, I had looked it up just to see what Diters meant, to see if it had a definition, or, even if it was, like, on urbandictionary.com or something like that. And I did find a definition for it, which I thought was really amusing, because you know how, like, clinical things will change every few years. Multiple personality disorder. Shoot, I'm trying to remember the chain of events now, because I used to know, like, all the different names as they've adapted over the years. But anyways, now it's called dissociative identity disorder. So a person who has it, DID, would be a Diter. So I suppose multiple people that have it would be Diters. So, anyways, that's what the nickname means now. I thought I'd cover that. All right. Some of the other things, though. We finally got Guild Wars 2. So we installed it the other day, and now here's what's funny. We got one disc, like, 3 days before the other one, because I told you I had to get 2 copies so that Tulin and I could play together. So I got the 2 copies, and we got the one, like, 3 days ahead of time. And I didn't actually install it. So, one sec. Oh, no, she's fine, okay. So I didn't install it right away because my thing was we weren't going to play it until we could play it together. So we wanted to wait until the second copy got here. So I kind of left it sitting up on a shelf, and then we get the second copy, and Tulin gets home at like 6 o'clock at night or whatever, We go to bed at like 10:30-ish or something. We're kind of old people. So we installed it like as soon as we got the second copy in the mail that night. We're like, oh, we got to get them in as soon as we had dinner and stuff, and we start installing them. Yeah. That takes a while. So they installed in like, I don't know, maybe an hour or so. It's like 2 discs. But then, once you install it, of course, you got to update. You gotta install all the different patches that they've released since the game came out that you haven't got yet. So we did that. It took all night, so we didn't get to play it the first night. Got to play it last night for the first time, so we like it thus far. We'll see how it goes. We're not really diving into any guilds or anything like that yet, so our stance right now is anybody that wants us, we wouldn't want to be in there anyway, so yeah. But and then moving on to the other game that we play, Makhai, which is mostly what my blog was about last time. Makhai is doing well. We did lose one of our members yesterday, which I was really sad about, because it's like a torn thing, because like I understand his reasoning for leaving. He says it's mostly he invests too much time and he invests too much money into the game. And honestly, a lot of people do. Like, from what I'm seeing, they will have specials in the game where if you spend, like, a certain amount, you get this specific prize. And that's the only way that I can gauge what other people are spending on this game, because they will talk about how they got the prizes and stuff, and so I know exactly how many credits they bought. It frightens me. Like, to see these numbers, it is, I'm sorry, ridiculous. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of heat for this one, but it is not that cool of a game. One of our players seriously spent $180. $180! It's a Facebook app! I'll never get it. I love the game, but that's not how I play it. You know, like, my stance is it's a Facebook app. It's a free game. I just, like, I play the game and then I sell the stuff in game for the credits. You know, I'm not going to use all the lingo because it's just annoying when people do that anyways. So yeah, I think that some of these people are psychotic. I got to be honest. But so Pun left, and I don't know if he's going to come back at this point. Honestly, if he's spending anything comparable to some of these other people, I completely understand. Shoot, I'd leave too, and I'd go buy me a car instead. Honestly, it's just not worth it. But as far as the time too, like right now, I don't invest that kind of time into this one because I run the bot, and I don't want to be there all day. Like, I come in and I BS with the people and stuff, but I can't do that. Like, I did that once before in a game called Triumph. And I loved Triumph, but I got completely cracked out on it, and seriously, like, I watched people, myself included, get divorced over this game, and it was ridiculous, you know, that it sucked us in, and I mean, we were setting alarms to get up in the middle of the night for this game and stuff. It's just outrageous, and so I get it if that's where Punisher was. You know, if that's how he had gotten, then I completely understand, because sometimes you just gotta shut off the computer and get back to real life, you know, and so kudos to him if that is the case. If he left because he was upset about other things, I truly, truly, truly hope he reconsiders and comes back, but if it really is because he just finally realizes that he's tuning out from real life, then more power to you for figuring that one out, because it does happen, and I certainly would rather see somebody bettering themselves in real life than being there for me to chat with them when I log on to play the game. So that's what happened there. I don't really think there's much else I wanted to cover this week. I'm going to keep it kind of short, I think, this week. Short and sweet. So, going to get some new glasses, though, in a little bit, and we'll see how they look next week, I guess. So, nice chatting you guys up. Peace.